Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our next session in our series of Healthy Body and Healthy Mind talks. And this morning we're joined with Samantha Sutherland. Good morning, Samantha. Welcome.
Hi, lovely to be here.
Thank you. So Samantha is a self-alignment mentor, and she specializes in a combination of numerology, EFT, and kinesiology, if I can pronounce that correctly.
Well done.
So can you tell us a little bit more about what that means and what it does?
Yeah, so essentially the core of what I do is I help mainly women really connect with themselves. I found that it's not the business side, not the professional person or anything like that, but there's a lot of women generally between 35, so with children around 5 years old, and about 55 who kind of have gone, I've lost my way. I'm just, my life's great, but I don't feel as happy as I feel I should be with everything that I have materialistically and as a family. Or I've been a parent for so long, I don't know who I am, or I just feel there's more to life. I think there's a lot of people who are really just looking for something. So it's part of that spiritual path journey, I guess. But there's normally a trigger. So there's normally something like, I feel like I'm not enjoying my job, my relationship's on the rocks, or something's changed, and it's time for me to go, I can't do this anymore. I need to find out why. So I help them align to themselves, to their truth again, to find out who they are and what they should be doing. And I use the 3 tools. So numerology gives us, I do a report, and that gives us a really nice flavour of if you followed your life path and really embraced your skills that you were given and that you have, then you could lead this amazing life. And it helps you to understand where that resistance is, why aren't I doing that? Because I feel this, and when it comes to the life path, it's all very much, we're meant to be on this path, but most of us choose the opposite one because it's the path of least resistance, right? Because we have so much learning to do on this earth in this lifetime. So then we use the EFT and the kinesiology to remove those energy blocks. So in layman's terms, it's all those limiting beliefs, it's all those fears, it's all that little t trauma, or those big T traumas. So all those times we look at ourselves and say that we're fat, we're ugly, we're not clever, we're useless. And those big things, so the relationship breakdowns, the loss, the grief, the big traumas. And it's removing what needs to be removed so our energy can flow properly. So ultimately we can be more in alignment. Because when we're living in fear, when we're working off shoulds and coulds and woulds, we're not living the life we should be living. And I just want people to be the best that they can be, because I'm still on my journey, but I know that I'm a million miles from where I was 10 years ago, and I like that, and I want to help other people do the same.
So obviously during these challenging times, with lockdown and with the world kind of shifting how we see normality, how do you think people can actually tap into what you offer to help them kind of see their role in this life as it is more positively, more kind of feeling uplifted and as if there is a future?
I think the easiest thing from a tool way to use is the tap in. So it's the tap in on the points, and that just relieves fear and stress. And every week in my Facebook group, we run a meet, chat and tap. So I've not allowed anyone to talk about COVID in the group because I don't want that energy in there. There's enough out there already. But once a week on a Monday, we get together and we just go, right, how's it been? How have we coped? And we're in week 10, and yesterday's and last week's meeting, the energy was so much more uplifted. I think because we've cleared regularly and we weren't denying the stress. I have a massive issue with fake positivity. So like, oh, it'll all be okay, it'll all be okay. And the bump in the road comes and we just crash because we've got no resilience there. So by regularly tapping and getting rid of the fears, the stress, I mean, there's a lot of people who are in fear about coming out of lockdown. What does that mean? We forget we actually have a choice. We didn't have a choice going in, but we definitely have a choice coming out. And just by tapping and recognizing, acknowledging that even though I feel this way, it's okay. And you tap, and by tapping here, you reduce the stress levels, you reduce all the cortisol, you open up the mind again, so you can see, okay, right, I don't have to leave the house now, or, you know, it's okay that I was in my pajamas all day today, it's okay the kids didn't get to go to school, the world has not ended. And it's just a really good way of just keeping your emotions in balance, because the more in balance you are, the more perspective you can gain. And you know, we've all had, everybody I've worked with in the group or whatever, everybody's had those moments of just, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And you can get yourself out of it and move on with the day. It just takes you out of that moment so you can take action into another moment. And that's
Are you able to show us a little bit of tapping to help kind of those who want to deal with overcome their fear? Just a little.
Yeah, well, I can very quickly show you the routine. I mean, tapping is really, really easy, and for the most part, super safe. You really can't do anything. The only time it can become a bit risky, which isn't a word I really like to use, is if you're trying to clear big trauma, and you know, our mind has always been, our brain is always there. It's all about safety. The whole nature of our brain is to keep us safe. So to, in isolation, go down rabbit holes, it can be dangerous. So if I can just caveat, don't do that. But in terms of, if you're just kind of sat at home going, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed with this, I've got to go to Tesco's again, and it's really freaking me out. You can literally just, I can feel it. Where can you feel it? If I'm feeling stress, how do you know you're stressed? You know you're stressed because your heart's beating fast, you've gone sweaty, you've got a knot in your tummy, whatever it is. And you can literally, because you're feeling it, you don't need to do the setup because you're in it, you know it. But you can do the setup, which is tapping on between your wrist and your baby finger. And you just say, even though I'm really overwhelmed because I've got to go to Tesco's later on, I couldn't get a delivery slot, I accept myself anyway. And what that does is that goes, right, I accept this situation, okay? I acknowledge it, I accept it, but I'm okay, even though I'm in the worst place. And then you just tap, and you just tap on the top of your head, which is not there or there, but it's on that kind of the bend. And you just go, all this stress I'm feeling, where is it? All this stress in my tummy. Well, what does it feel like in my tummy? It's really knotted. All this knotted stress in my tummy. All this stress. And you kind of go, well, how strong is it? Well, out of 10, I'm like an 8 right now. And you just keep tapping. All this stress. Feeling all this
Is
stress.
8 the most, the highest feeling of anger? Okay.
Yeah, so if 10 is the worst you can be feeling, and you just use your words, okay? It's just all this stress. Why are you feeling stressed? So we're now on the collarbone, which is roughly there. I won't go into too much detail because of the time. And then underneath the bra line, the arm, which is roughly the bra line for women. Those that are wearing bras in lockdown, because not many are. Tapping there. Yeah, I don't want to go to Tesco's. Back up to the top. I don't want to go to Tesco's. Don't want to go to Tesco's. Why do you want to go to Tesco's? Because people walk past me. Okay, people walk past me. That's okay. And you just, all the little thoughts as you tap. What's happening? If you imagine, like, really, you've got the meridian lines, and there's fast flowing energy. And it's like, and as we're tapping, it starts to slow down. It's like, okay, well, I've got to go to Tesco's. Everybody else is likely to be feeling the same. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. I'm just going to smile nicely at people. I've been safe so far. And as you tap in, you kind of go, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. And then the brain starts to go, well, are we really? Why are we stressed? Well, we're going to Tesco's is fine. What we don't like is the fact that, are those hand machines cleaned? We don't know. You know, so, okay, well, what can I do about that? I can take a baby wipe with me. I can do something. So you start to hear inner guidance. You start to feel calmer. And again, you feel that calm. You get in perspective. You take a breath. And you can make a decision. Maybe that decision will be, I just don't need to go to Tesco's today. I don't need to. It's not that big a deal. I can go to this one shop, buy 1 pint of milk and come back. I don't have to subject myself. Or you'd have calmed yourself down enough to go, yeah, right, let's just get on with this. I've done it 5 times already. I've survived. I've not become poorly. It really wasn't that bad. I've just worked myself up. And move on. So that's kind of how you use it. It's really intuitive. You can try and get too complicated with it, and you don't. It's just literally, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? How does that make me feel? Tap on it, and that will help.
Excellent. And do you offer sessions? I know you've got your Facebook group. Is that free to anyone?
Yeah, so I've got a free Facebook group, which, if I can say, is called Tap Into Self-Love, and that is free. And in the group, we just look at all things magical. So we talk about EFT, kinesiology. There's crystals, meditations, and everything. But I get specialists in because I don't know the answer to everything, and I just want a place. I found it tends to be a place where people are kind of new to middling on the spiritual journey. So you know, there are bigger gurus out there than me, but I've got a skill at making it all accessible. So if you kind of want to kind of get to know that kind of world, it's a really great group for that. And yeah, I work one-to-one with clients as well. So you can either just purchase a numerology report and do nothing with it, or we do clients that have come into me for a specific reason, or from the report to become clients. It all depends. And over the years, over the last sort of 6 years, I've worked on everything from nail biting to IBS to recovering from depression, to business clarity, to running faster, to everything. So it's where you get those blocks, it's where you're not doing what you want to be doing. That's what I work on. But more towards now, over the years, it's come down to this kind of self-alignment. So if it is you want to run faster, so say you go, I want to run a marathon, I've done a half marathon, I want to run a marathon. So what we do, and they go, but I can't get into the training, it's not working, I'm not achieving my goals. So we do the work, and it might be that there's a fear that they won't be able to do it, so we clear that and then they can go out and do it. Or it might be that we actually go, they get clarity and go, I don't want to run a marathon. You kind of meant to run a marathon because you've done a half marathon. I don't want to do a marathon. So you become aligned with what you want. It's not all necessarily big stuff. It's about what is it you really want, rather than living this life of shoulds and coulds and meant tos and I need tos and all that sort of stuff. There's so much more joy when we do what makes our hearts sing.
I think it's just allowing ourselves to do it, and not restricting and feeling, you know, all those. I mean, for me, it's been, especially through the last 2 months, I work with a lot of people, and a lot of people I've spoken to have been down, depressed, anxious. And sometimes when you are doing well, you feel a little bit guilty. I mean, that's what I've suffered from. And I think, you know, how come I'm doing well and other people aren't? And then I try and suffocate the goods. So not everyone sees everything that's happening, because I don't want anyone to feel less worthy.
But the thing is, I mean, you're absolutely right, and I've had the same thing. You kind of like, everyone's going, oh, you know, da-da-da, and I'm like, I'm actually quite I'm not liking this lot. I'm a bit of a lockdown lush, really. I'm really quite happy. I miss people. I miss the human side of life. I don't miss the noise of it at all. And the thing is, though, we can only ever, and this is a hard lesson, we can only ever be responsible for ourselves. And we need to be us, because that's our authentic self. When we start compromising ourselves, and it's not about being big-headed or arrogant or look at me, my life's amazing. That's just over energy. That's not nice energy either. But we can celebrate us, and that's then up to those people to decide how they respond to us, because we're just getting triggered. When we interact with people, our response is to what they are triggering us. It's how we interpret what is going on with their lives, you know. And it's a hard place to be. I had a gorgeous friend who got a little bit of a windfall. She goes, oh, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, why are you apologizing? She goes, well, you know, I know about your situation. I'm like, babe, you know, I'm really happy for you that you've got money. That's fantastic, you know. And by I mean my situation, as in, you know, we're just normal. We've not got any money, we're just not living a normal life. And you know, and it's like, no, but there would have been a time, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, where I would have been like, oh, why do they get money? Why can't I get any? And it's not fair. And it's not. When you become clear, you can then be joyful, even if you're struggling, you know, and you can have authenticity and going, do you know what? I feel really crap in my life right now. It's so great to hear that things are going well for you. You've really lifted my day a little bit. And people can have that space. So we shouldn't hide ourselves at all, because our joy a smile spreads. So if you're going, actually, do you know what? Life's quite good for me right now, and I'm super grateful for that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So you shine bright. You shine.
I will. So one thing I've kind of noticed, and people have let me know, is people are getting more interactive and creative in the kitchen.
Yes.
So I think that's the one thing that has totally exploded. People have more time, and the only place you can really go to is the supermarket. That's your kind of leisure activity. So cooking has really been a plus and positive. How have you found that in your life, and kind of how have you been creative? What dishes have you been cooking, and have you involved your whole family?
Well, I've been on a whole kind of plant-based diet journey anyway. I'm not 100% there. I do like meat, but I've got to the point where it's easier for me to say no now. And if I want it, I've got to really want it, and it's going to be really, really good. I've got to know where it's come from and stuff. So what I've been able to do is I've had the time to do some bulk cooking. So what my boys are meat eaters, they do eat vegan meals, they do eat vegetarian meals, whatever description you want to make of them. Yeah. When they like them, what's important for me, what I've really been able to explore, is creating meals that are meals because they taste good. They may be vegan, they may be vegetarian, they may be meat, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's on my plate and it looks good and it tastes good, and that's all that matters. So when I found those dishes and the boys just eat them, you've done well, because there's no, that was really nice. If there was chicken, it'd be perfect. It's like, that's really nice. That's it, dead subject. So that's been really good. But what I've done is things like bolognese. I want to eat bolognese with my family, but I don't want to compromise what I want to eat. So I've made batch cooked a load of bolognese recipe that I'm trying. And then I have that, and then I freeze it. So when they then have theirs, I can defrost mine and I can have the same meal without compromise. And I think lockdown's given me the time to explore, work out what recipes work well unfrosted, defrosted, and recooked, and what ones don't. And also to create space where I don't feel compromised, because I'm like, this isn't fair. I compromise myself all the time to make life easier for you when I'm doing the cooking, and actually you don't compromise at all. You can have one or two at least vegetarian meals a week, and they're like, yeah, no, we can do that. So just giving me the space.
Do they help you?
Yeah.
Cook together?
Me and my husband cook together. My son's like, he's just not interested. He cooks crumpets. Although we have said, you're 16, you need to start doing something and learning something, but he's just not really bothered. And I think with cooking, you need to find your own path. I think, when he leaves home, I want him to have skills, so I know he's not out of a tin and out of a packet all the time. Yeah. And he knows, most of our food is freshly cooked, is from basic ingredients. But he has to find his own path, really. He could be on a whole Tex-Mex vibe, but when he finds that, he'll find his recipes and he'll create it. But it will give him we'll show him that at least he sees us cooking. I think that's the role model, isn't it? He sees the cooking, enjoying the cooking and stuff. And my husband loves to cook when he's got time, so he's had a bit more time to do stuff that he likes to do. And we love food. We're a food family.
And do you snack? Have you had kind of good recipes for snacking dishes?
I am a snacker, and actually that's probably my weakest cooking point, is snacks. So got the raw balls and stuff like that. They're good, and they're good because they're easy to grab from the fridge and they're satisfying. So I quite like sort of coconut based ones. Obviously a lot of them are dates. Some of them are a bit too datey for me. But the snacks are my weak point. But luckily, my mum's been making some nice things that she sort of leaves on the doorstep. So I have those, and there's nothing good about those at all, other than they're very, very good.
Oh, brilliant. Just to wrap things up, I'm conscious of the time. Thank you so much for your time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all your links on the video that we're going to publish, and people can contact you for one-to-one consultations online, I guess, at the moment. Yeah. And then you've got your Facebook group that people can come and join. And is that on Sunday evenings, did you say?
So the Facebook group is obviously always, and when you're in the group on a Monday morning, you have access to Meet, Chat and Tap, which is done via Zoom in a group setting. And depending on what we do a bit of a round robin, how everybody is, and then we lead the tap, we'll do some kinesiology, we'll pull an oracle card, whatever the energy vibe is really, just to kind of lift us and move us on and get us from one space to another.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll connect again soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.